Hi, and welcome back to Twisted Reality. Today's video is about Jay Slater, the lad that you see in the top right hand corner of this video. Today we are talking about Jay Slater. So Jay Slater is a 19-year-old lad from a place called, now I've got it written down here so I'm going to try and not ruin the name, Oswald Twistle or something, from Lancashire in the UK. Now, Lancashire is obviously an inferior county, but that can't be helped. So the place that this lad has gone missing from is Tenerife. I say gone missing from, he is known to be still on the island. Some conspiracy theories out there say otherwise, but they're just wrong. Jay Slater is still on Tenerife. The last place, like I've said, I've got this written down, so if it seems like I'm looking off to the side, I am doing, because I'm reading my notes. The last place that he was seen was the NRG Festival on Tenerife. He left the festival with two men who he met there, they have been questioned by the police before they left the island to come back to the UK. A lot of people out there are saying, well, they shouldn't have been let go. They should have been kept there. They should have been arrested. Why? There's no reason for them to be arrested. There's no evidence of anything or them doing anything to Jay. So why should they be arrested? How can they be arrested? But they were questioned before they left Tenerife to return home to the UK. He left the festival with these two men, right? That we know. He went back to their Airbnb 30 miles north of where the festival was, in a place called Masca. And around about 8 a.m, he then rang his friend Lucy and told her that his phone only had 1% of its battery left, right? 1% of its battery left. And that he didn't know where he was, and not long after that, his phone died. They can tell if his phone died and when it died. They can tell when it was turned off. But because he rang somebody, especially because he rang his friend, they can also ping his phone and know whereabouts he was when he made that phone call. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there saying a whole lot of stuff, right? But the thing is, they can prove that his phone made that phone call. They can prove at what time it made the phone call. They can prove whereabouts that phone was when the phone call was made. I will give you that what they cannot prove is who was on the other side of that phone when his phone made that call, and the content and context of the conversation that then happened. But everything else can and has been proven. There have been search crews that have been searching in the area that his phone last pinged, and they have been doing that since Monday. Monday being the day that he went missing, and today being, I'm pretty sure today is Saturday, am I right? Yes, today is Saturday. So this lad has been missing in Tenerife since Monday, and since then, the police and search crews have been searching in the area that his phone last pinged. Right, so again, I'm reading off my notes here. So the night before, he was at a festival, the NRG festival, to be exact. He left with two guys who have been questioned before they had to leave to go back to the UK. Remember that, folks. That has happened. We can assume that he was drinking, probably to the extent that he was intoxicated by a significant amount. So he was at a festival. He was obviously drinking. He was obviously drunk to a significant extent. You know? You get what I'm saying? Were there any narcotics involved recreationally? Nobody knows. Nobody knows that for sure. You can't tell that. But what we know for sure is that he was at that festival, because he's been filmed there. He's been caught on CCTV there. And he was drinking. So yes, he was intoxicated by alcohol. Right? He was drinking. He was drunk. We all know what alcohol does to you, especially the day after. And depending on the alcohol that you drink the night before, depends on how much you are dehydrated the next day. Because some alcoholic beverages have different effects slightly, and slightly different levels of that effect on different people. So I might drink something and the next morning I might be alright, I might be just a little bit hydrated, but somebody else might drink the same thing and the same amount, but the next morning just be incredibly dehydrated and just need to drink tons of water. Alcohol affects people differently, but I think it's safe to assume that because of the alcohol that he drank the night before, that the day after, he was dehydrated because of the alcohol, but keeping in mind he's also in Tenerife. So it's safe to assume that he was also dehydrated by the weather over there. So dehydrated by the alcohol that he drank the night before, the next morning it's made worse because of the weather. It's going to be hot. And I think it's safe to assume also that because of that his judgment would have been impaired. And Jay strikes me as the type of person that's also, like, maybe slightly, to a certain extent, he's impatient with just life in general and people and everything. And maybe he was waiting for that bus and he just got bored or just impatient waiting and decided to just try and walk back to where he was staying himself, not realising how far he was out. And also going in the wrong direction, and with the drinking the night before and the dehydration the next morning, his judgment was impaired. So all of that, it just sounds like the lad has been waiting for this bus. He has got bored or just impatient waiting for this bus, and has decided to try and walk home himself, or back to where he was staying himself, and has not realised how far out away from where he was staying he actually was. And because of that, he's never been there before. I think he's never been to Tenerife before, that he has gotten lost. He's gone the wrong way. Everything else, keeping in mind everything else, his judgment being impaired because of the drinking the night before, the dehydration. He's gone the wrong way. He's just got lost. The lad, not realising what he's doing and not realising where he was, has gone the wrong way to get back to where he was staying, and because of that has gotten lost. And that is the main reason, I'm telling you, that is the main reason why he rang his friend Lucy, stating that he didn't know where he was. Again, I'm reading from my notes here because I've written stuff down I want to talk about and I want to hit on, so I'm going to probably just paraphrase my notes as well. It's not going to be written, I'm not going to say it as exactly how it's written down, how I've written it down in my notes. But, right, I've made a point of saying all that because the internet is now doing what the internet does best when it comes to cases like this. They've been going like this, right? In the Facebook groups, online, on other social media platforms, YouTube, TikTok. People have been going like this with their weird, wild, far-fetched, crackpot, whackpot theories, right? Some people out there literally think that Lucy's friend is some sort of drug mule and there was a deal going on and that's why they went over there to get the drugs, and something has gone wrong that has caused Jay's disappearance. People actually think that, right? People have been saying that in these Facebook groups and online on other places, YouTube, TikTok and all sorts of things, right? People have been saying all sorts of things. Lucy's a drug mule, and that's what's got Jay. That's why Jay has gone missing. They think that Jay is an actual drug mule and was going over to Tenerife to sort out a drug deal, and something's gone wrong during that deal, and that's why he's gone missing. People have been saying a lot of things. And all this is made worse by the fact that Jay's mum has been receiving phone calls and messages over Snapchat saying stuff along the lines of, "You will never see your son again." Which has now got this poor woman thinking that Jay has been kidnapped. When in reality, all this seems to be, and I'm not downplaying it, I know how sad this situation is and how serious the situation is, but she has been receiving Snapchat messages and phone calls saying stuff along the lines that you will never see your son again. And all this situation seems to be is a lad that's gone on holiday, gotten drunk, gone somewhere, not realising where he's going and not realising how far out he was going, how far out it was, has then the next morning gotten lost, and that's what's caused his disappearance. That has been the reason he has disappeared. He was drunk, his judgment was impaired, dehydrated, not been there before, gone off in the wrong direction, not realising how far away from his apartment or the place that he was staying he actually was. All that has resulted in Jay going missing. But because of these messages and these phone calls that his mum has been receiving, she now thinks that he has been kidnapped. Now, I'm not saying that these people online in these groups that are coming out with these wild, stupid, whackpot theories, right, that is an international drug baron. I'm not saying that they're doing that on purpose to hurt Jay's mum and his family and his friends and his loved ones. I'm not saying they are doing it to purposely hurt those people, but they are doing it for attention. People come out in times like this, with cases like this, and say stuff, stupid things like that, knowing that it's going to get reactions from people because it's stupid and far-fetched and just whack-potty. And they do it for attention. But I don't think they're doing it to purposely hurt Jay's family. However, these trolls and are messaging Jay's mum are doing it on purpose to hurt her. And I just wanted to send a message to those trolls. Snapchat and your phone, the anonymity that you think that they afford you is misplaced. You're not as protected by your phone, and you are not as protected by Snapchat as you think you are. The authorities can and will figure out who sent those messages by following the trail left by your phones, by Snapchat, because you think just because the messages are deleted after a certain time that they are deleted off Snapchat's servers. No, the police can still get a hold of that information. You are not protected by that app as much as you think you are, and you will be found. The police will find you, and you will be brought to justice. Because what you are doing is sick, and it's evil. You're evil. Whether or not it is actually meant by these people online that are coming up with these crackpot theories, it will be causing unnecessary stress to Jay's mum and his family and his loved ones, right? On top of the stress that Jay's disappearance is already causing them. And it will be and is causing them to think that something has happened when it hasn't. It's causing them to think that he's been kidnapped. When all that seems to have happened, when you follow the actual evidence that is real, right? When you follow that evidence, everything points to a lad that was confused, was dehydrated, possibly still drunk from the night before, didn't know where he was, and has gotten lost. You are causing harm not only to Jay's mum and his family and his friends, but you are causing harm to the investigation into his disappearance. People are now trying to find him, but you might inadvertently cause the police to do something else that they shouldn't be doing. You might cause them to go over here, looking at something over here, when they should be looking over here, trying to find Jay because Jay's over here. But because of your influence and what you're doing, it might inadvertently cause them to go on another avenue of investigation when they shouldn't be. They should be over here, concentrating over here. You're causing harm not just to Jay's mum, his friends and his family, his loved ones, but you are causing harm into the search for Jay. I'm now going to play a clip from Michelle After Dark's video earlier on Jay. She made a video about Jay and his disappearance. I'm going to play a clip from that. The clip is from Michelle After Dark's video, but the majority of the clip is an actual interview that Sky News did with the owner of the bar that is next door to the Airbnb that Jay went to with the two guys. So he left the festival, went to their Airbnb, and Sky News interviewed the owner of the bar next door to that Airbnb, and this is what she said.
A 5-day search and rescue operation and all the questions that come with it begin here, with this villa in Tenerife's northern mountains. After attending a music festival on the island on his first holiday abroad, 19-year-old Jay Slater came here with 2 men. Hours later, he went missing. Ophelia, who runs the cafe above the villa, was most likely the last person to see Jay in person. She spoke to him before he headed north, into the rugged hills, away from the bus stop he needed to take him back to the accommodation he was staying in.
I saw the boy in the morning, at around 8 a.m. He asked twice what time the bus came. I told him at 10 o'clock. He came back and asked me again, and I told him again at 10 o'clock. After that, he walked off and I didn't see him anymore. Later, I went to my car and I saw him. He was walking fast, but I didn't see him again after that.
So that was Ophelia. He was heading north. He was heading in exactly the wrong direction. Los Cristianos is right down here. If he'd gone south and stayed on the road, he would have eventually got to where he needed to go. It's about 28 miles. according to Google Maps. But instead, he headed north. And his phone last pinged in here somewhere, which is the rural Deteno Park, right down here.
So going on that clip from Michelle After Dark's video and the interview that Sky News did with the owner of that bar, he asked her around about 2 or 3 times, I think it was 3 times, because she said something about he asked her twice when the bus was coming and then came back and asked her again. So 3 times he asked her when the bus was coming. So obviously what I said before, it seems like anyways that what I said before about him being impatient to a certain degree is actually true. So it sounds like what's happened here is that Jay's been waiting for the bus, he's not realised where he was, he's been confused, dehydrated and possibly still intoxicated from the night before. It's probably highly likely that he was still intoxicated from the night before. Dehydrated from that, plus the weather, not realising where he was and how far out he was, has got impatient waiting for the bus and decided, I'm just going to try and walk back myself, but in doing so has gone the wrong way and gotten himself lost, causing his disappearance. It seems like I was right when I said that he was slightly impatient, and this is what's happened. To the trolls out there that are calling his mum and sending him messages over Snapchat, you're evil, and you will be brought to justice. And to the person that has hacked Jay's Instagram account, you will be found and you will be brought to justice too. You are interrupting an investigation. You are messing with a search for a missing person. You will be found. The police will get you. I hope Jay's found, and I hope when he's found, he's alive and well. And regardless of his past, because people have been demonising him because of his past, regardless of his past, I think he is deserving of a future. The lad's only 19. Regardless of his past, he deserves a future. I hope he's found alive and well and is able to recover from this. People out there need to stop making out as if him and his friends were international drug barons. You need to stop thinking you know better than him and his family, and you need to stop thinking you know more than what the police know, because you don't. You think you're helping. There'll be people out there that genuinely think they'll be helping with coming out with these stupid theories. You're not. You're just hurting everybody. You're hurting everybody. You're hurting the search for Jay. You're hurting his family. You're hurting his friends. You're hurting his mum. You're hurting Jay by coming up with these stupid, ridiculous, misplaced, far-fetched, crackpot, whackpot theories. All you're doing by coming up with that and posting this crap is causing harm. You need to stop. I hope Jay is found alive and well. I hope that he's found, and when he's found, he's able to overcome this. And I hope his mum and his family and his friends are okay too. If you agreed with anything I've said, or even if you don't agree with what I've said in this video, if you have an opinion about what's happened to Jay, tell me in the comments below and we can have a discussion. Until then, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.